Today we were going to see how Iran responded to that US beta strike that took out al-Baghdadi in Afghanistan. Over 100 missiles slammed into this base in Qatar. This is a US base. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm here with you today to offer my perspective on current events from a Christian worldview. So come join me and let's get into it. Okay, first of all, what do you think of when you hear the term drones warfare? What comes to your mind? For me, I think of a couple things. No. One, I think of the Ukrainian attack on the Russian aircraft carrier, the Moskva, where they used a drone to actually hit this Russian aircraft carrier, which eventually led to the sinking of this ship. Also, I think of Hamas using drones in their recent attack on Israel, flying them right into the side of buildings, into the side of homes, dropping explosives and causing massive damage. But also I think of Matthew 24 verse 37, where Jesus says this, "But as the days of Noah were, so will be the coming of the Son of Man." And in Matthew 24 it talks about how in the last days there will be wars and rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes in various places, but most importantly he says there will be nation rising against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So when I see this type of news, when I see Iran attacking a US base in Qatar with over 100 missiles, my mind goes immediately to that prophetic passage in Matthew 24. Now let's talk about what happened yesterday. Now, if you've been following for any length of time, you know that last week I talked about how the US took out al-Baghdadi, who was a top leader of ISIS-K. He was in charge of ISIS in Afghanistan, and he was killed by a US drone strike in Afghanistan. Well, yesterday, Iran responded to that drone strike, and they did so with over 100 missiles that slammed into the Udeid airbase in Qatar. Now, this is a major US base in the Middle East. In fact, it's home to the US Central Command's forward headquarters. It's strategically located in the Middle East. It is very close to Iran. So why did Iran do this? They said they did it in response to that US drone strike that killed al-Baghdadi. But I would also suspect that Iran is feeling pretty vulnerable right now. Remember, they're surrounded by all these US bases. We have bases all over the Middle East, and they are very concerned about a coming US attack on their nuclear facilities. And so perhaps this was just a way for Iran to flex its muscle and say, hey, we can hit you too. The good news is that according to reports, no one was killed or injured in this missile barrage. However, this caused major damage to some of the infrastructure at the base. We're talking about, again, over 100 missiles. So there is no doubt that this caused major damage to the base. And then Iran, in addition to this, they also fired warning shots at an Israeli ship off the coast of Oman. So needless to say, things are really heating up in the Middle East, and it does seem like we are entering a season of great tribulation. Again, that's what Jesus talks about in Matthew 24. He says, nation rising against nation and kingdom against kingdom. So Iran aligning themselves with Russia and China, getting closer and closer to North Korea. They kind of surrounding Israel on all sides and launching attacks not only against Israel, but against US interests in the region as well. So keep this in prayer. Keep all of this in prayer. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray that God will intervene in the affairs of men and bring about lasting peace in the Middle East, because the Bible tells us that it will happen. It may not seem like it sometimes, but the Bible is very clear that lasting peace will come to the Middle East, and it will come through the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you found it interesting. So, be sure to share it with others. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Once again, thanks so much for joining me. Look forward to seeing you all in the next upload. Take care. God bless.